How are you? Just fine? Doing all right? Okay? Hiding how we feel is second nature. There's a lot okay just glosses over, and we just let it. Encourage it even. It's a lot cleaner, a lot easier to deal with. Just okay. I'm Makensi Grant, and I'm tired of just being okay. Aren't you? It's week 4 of Julia Cameron's The Artist Way, and this book's hurting my feelings, and it's not okay. Week 4 is weirdly a point Cameron brings up that if you're gonna quit this program, it's likely gonna be this week. And I see why. I felt like I was getting punched in the gut every time I tried to write a morning pages this week. In fact, it took me 2 weeks to do this week because I was so over it. But the only way out is through, so let's get to the essay. This is week 4, Recovering a Sense of Integrity. Honest changes. Working with the morning pages, we begin to sort through the differences between our real feelings, which are often secret, and our official feelings, those on the record for public display. Official feelings are often indicated by the phrase, "I feel okay about that." The job loss, her dating someone else, my dad's death. What do we mean by "I feel okay"? The morning pages force us to get specific. Does "I feel okay" mean I feel resigned, accepting, comfortable, detached, numb, tolerant, pleased, or satisfied? What does it mean? Okay is a blanket word for most of us. It covers all sorts of squirmy feelings, and it frequently signals a loss. We officially feel okay, but do we? At the root of our successful creative recovery is the commitment to puncture of our denial, and stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. The morning pages press us to answer what else. I have noticed that many tend to neglect or abandon the pages whenever an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. If we are, for example, very, very angry, but not admitting it, then we will be tempted to say we feel okay about that. The morning pages will not allow us to get away with this evasion, so we tend to avoid them. Extreme motions of any kind, the very thing that morning pages are superb for processing, are usually triggers for avoiding the pages themselves. If we are to the left or the right of our personal truth, the pages will point out the need for a course adjustment. We will become aware of this drift and correct it, if only to hush the pages up. To thine own self be true, the pages say, while busily pointing that self out. Chekhov advised if you want to work on your art, work on your life. That's another way of saying that in order to have self-expression, you must first have a self to express. That is the business of the morning pages. The process of identifying a self inevitably involves loss, as well as gain. We discover our boundaries, and those boundaries by definition separate us from our fellows. As we clarify our perceptions, we lose our misconceptions. As we eliminate ambiguity, we lose illusion as well. We arrive at clarity, and clarity creates change. As we notice which friends bore us, which situations leave us stifled, and are often rocked by waves of sorrow, we may want our illusions back. We want to pretend the friendship works. We don't want the trauma of searching for another job. Faced with impending change we have set in motion through our own hand, we want to mutiny, curl up in a ball our eyes out. No pain, no gain, the nasty slogan has it, and we resent this pain no matter what gain it brings us. People frequently believe the creative life is grounded in fantasy. The more difficult truth is that creativity is grounded in reality, in the practical, in the focused, and the well-observed, or the specifically imagined. As we lose our vagueness about ourselves, our values, and our life situation, we become available to the moment. Art lies in the moment of encounter. We meet our truth and we meet ourselves. We meet ourselves and we meet our self-expression. We become original because we become something specific, an origin from which work flows. Cameron continues by laying out other elements of how you may feel, on how you're going to be destroying and changing your old energy patterns. You could be having new dreams or stronger and clearer. You could find yourself remembering nightmares of fantasies. You may just decide that you don't like things anymore, or that you're finally being candid about what you didn't like in the first place. Conditioned as we are to accept other people's definitions of us, this emerging individuality can seem to us like self-will run riot. It is not. Now, this week is also the week that you are supposed to do a complete and total reading deprivation. And Cameron suggests that this should include not watching TV, not reading books, not reading articles, like a whole week where you are supposed to let yourself get bored creatively and let yourself write and focus. And you can imagine why a lot of people quit. I wasn't very happy about it when I read it and found out. But yeah, with the reading deprivation, it's supposed to cast us into our inner silence in a space some of us begin to immediately fill with new words, long gossipy conversations, television binging, the radio as our constant chatty companion. We cannot hear our own inner voice, the voice of our artist inspiration above the static. In particular, reading deprivation, we need to cast a watchful eye on the other pollutants. They poison the well. We were supposed to do a full one with that and, come up with a list of things you can do instead. So you could listen to music, you could make curtains, you could wash your dog, you could do all kinds of other things. But what you're supposed to spend this week doing is thinking about all of the times that you've been angry before in your life and why, and maybe at the fact that boundaries are different and why, and then let yourself actually be who you really are, because you've been stopping yourself because of shame. But for week 4, it's like you're finally trying to put some pieces of yourself together, because it's like you were shamed, so you stopped being this person. But if you're not shamed anymore, well, who's this person now? It's been a while. Let's reintroduce them. And the exercises this week are meant to help with that. It's like wanting you to describe an environment. You're supposed to time travel to yourself when you're 80. What did you do when you were 50? Like, it's all these things of, if you're living out who you want to be and who you're supposed to be, what would you become in the future? And it's a fun experiment to look at. I don't know if this is any good. Maybe this is ego or a holdover from being raised in a conservative family, but I loathe being told how to react. So naturally, I brushed it off when Cameron said that this week is a make or break week for the program. I should have listened. When Cameron said this week would see tantrums as we start to uncover deeper blocks, she was right. A major part of me did not want to acknowledge the hurts. Like ignoring them kept them from being real. They are still there, still raw, and still a problem. I find myself avoiding my morning pages this week, as warned, I suppose. Probably because I'm coming to terms with my own dissatisfaction at my life and my choices, my boredom, my dislike of key factors in my life. It was my trauma playing out. It was me playing into roles I was programmed. I was fulfilling roles I fucking hated and never planned to do. And I resented it. I forgot I was independent. At various points during this week, I was calling myself out a lot. Calling myself out for being a bad friend to those that didn't deserve it. Calling myself out for not letting me dye my hair for a while. I can't really explain that one, but I wouldn't let myself dye my hair for too many years, just because I was afraid to. There is a lot in this week that I'm unpacking with my friendships, ones that I've been a bad friend to, as well as recognizing situations that I didn't want to be part of anymore. My own personal fears and how I've let that control what I've allowed myself to do. It's silly. It's been in a lot of little ways. Like I wouldn't let myself get a second tattoo for a while. I wouldn't let myself dye my hair. I did a lot of things and made a lot of choices that would intentionally shrink me and put me in a box. And then I got to this point where I was just so angry all the time about it. But I couldn't understand why. Why am I so angry? Why am I so upset? And it never once occurred to me it might be because I'm literally living a life that I didn't ask for, that I didn't want, that somebody else chose for me because I just was like, yeah, okay, let's go for it. Sure, that's fine. When it wasn't. It was never okay. That trying harder to fit into spaces that I'm not meant for does more harm than good. That shoving myself in small boxes forces me to set aside parts of myself. That's the issue. That's the lesson. Be me. Be connected. Stop destroying myself. Stop following others. It's time to let myself expand and to be involved. Another excerpt. I'm in a stasis, unable to move on. I feel like I'm not making enough progress. Not creatively, at least. I've made more progress emotionally doing this than I've made in years in therapy. But I wanted to see leaps and bounds creatively on the page. And right now, it's sputtering out in weird ways. I'm doing projects. I'm designing rooms. I'm doing so much more with my hands. I'm gardening. It's like sort of developing hobbies, but I'm also frustrated at how I'm struggling to get ideas to page. I'm struggling seeing past the part and the two flash moments. I'm laughing at my audacity of wanting to be a famous author with how bad I spell. Like I misspell stuff all the time. I don't know if I'm even worried about that at its real core. I'm just scared. Like I'm a third of the way through this program, and I'm at the point where I recognize that I have to step up. I have to start doing the things. And I'm scared. What if I'm bad? I'm afraid I'll keep making the decisions that'll keep me stuck. I'm overwhelmed with choice. Afraid I'll fuck it up. Ignoring the fact that it's my inactions causing me to spin out. I'm afraid to succeed as well. I'm afraid it'll bring back my mom's attention. I'm afraid it'll bring back the harassment, the judgments, that I won't be able to stand up to the scrutiny. I'm surprised with myself at the level of fear I have over success. I want it, but it feels unattainable. It feels kept from me. I feel like every path I've been set up on since college has led me ultimately failing and being shut out. I've wanted success, but not the actual role or the job. I've never cared for sports writing, but I wanted recognition. I'm fighting against the idea that it's useless to dream. I'm fighting against the idea that it'll never get better for me. I'm fighting against the idea that what I want in life matters. I'm fighting against the idea that I'm powerless. I keep meeting this same wall of why try? And I hate that. I don't want to try. I used to love the effort, the puzzle. But I also used to believe good things would happen. Don't I still believe that? Don't I still get the things I want? Why don't I want more than just okay? Why don't I want for bigger? Why am I punishing myself? Why won't I let myself be loose? Why won't I just enjoy things? I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of filling my time with domesticity when I crave more. Yet I'm afraid to act. Have I always been chicken shit? Have I always been a coward? I've made decisions from fear. I've made decisions from lack. Of course I've been a coward. I've been trying to survive, not follow dreams. But I've done scary things before, and I will do them again. I can stop letting fear control my life. I can start being brave for myself. I can take that reliability to my own work. I can take that tenacity to my own work, to my own life, to my own dreams. I can let myself dream and build and create. It costs nothing to try. Sitting with that knowledge has been uncomfortable. I don't enjoy letting others know what drives my choices, or that I've accepted far less than I've deserved. That I've squashed my own inner artist just for a chance at acceptance. I've been forcing myself to be in places that are never going to see me. To be willing to accept just okay. But staying okay isn't the answer anymore. I want something beyond my current comfort zone. I want more. Normally here I'd make a quick quip or joke about trauma dumping. But today I think I'm going to end with the artist's prayer because it feels right. O great Creator, we have gathered together in your name that we may be of greater service to you and to our fellows. We offer ourselves to you as instruments. We open ourselves to your creativity in our lives. We surrender to you our old ideas. We welcome your new and more expansive ideas. We trust that you will lead us. We trust that it is safe to follow you. We know you created us and that creativity is your nature and your own. We ask you to unfold our lives according to your plan, not our low self-worth. Help us to believe that it was not too late and that we are not too small or too flawed to be healed by you and through each other and made whole. Help us to love one another, to nurture each other's unfolding, to encourage each other's growth, and understand each other's fears. Help us to know that we are not alone. We are loved and lovable. Help us create as an act of worship to you.